What if you could have the ability to see what other people think and accurately predict their emotions? What if you never had to feel awkward again at social or networking events because you can now understand and decode other people? And what if by understanding other people, you could completely empower not just yourself, but also transform the dynamics with the people who are close to you? The promise of this training video is simple. You're about to make your relationships much more intimate and meaningful, your business or career way more rewarding and fulfilling, and your life more fun and purposeful with the art of face reading. Hi, I'm Jovi Yap, and welcome to the third lesson of my 4-part training series on the art of face reading. I'm the creator of the Face Reading Academy and founder of the Mastery Academy of Chinese Metaphysics. The last 2 decades, I've built a following of over 2 million enthusiasts actively pursuing the subject of metaphysics. I speak to 50,000 people each year at my live events all around Rome. I've published 179 books and counting in the subjects like Feng Shui, Chinese astrology, and of course, the art of face reading. I am the CEO and the founder of a high-growth multi-million-dollar Chinese metaphysics consulting practice based in Malaysia. Some of my work has been featured on CNN, Bloomberg, CNBC, and BBC, and today I'm very happy to be sharing some of this amazing art with you in this training video. But just before we begin today's training, remember, you guys need to first watch the first 2 episodes. You'll find a link on the screen or on the description of this video where you can access the previous training lessons. Remember, you need to download the accompanying episode notes, as these notes will help you fill in the gaps and follow through with the entire training. In today's lesson, I'm going to share with you some face reading strategies that have not only transformed my personal and professional life, but it has also directly impacted the lives of the people in my proximity. You'll be surprised that these strategies are actually easier to deploy than you think. Today's lesson is divided to 3 parts. In the first part, we're going to learn how to get what you want by giving people what they want. Then we're going to talk about the internal and external voices, the unseen signs of pain in others, and how to fix them. Then on the third part, we're going to talk about the 7 fortunes of the face. It's a traditional method of recognizing fortunes from important features on the face. And it's really easy. As you can see, we have much to cover today, so let's get started. Over my years of professional consulting, I've had the privilege and honor of working with some of the world's top business tycoons, prominent leaders, and glamorous celebrities. Now, some of these people are indeed, as they say, larger-than-life superstars of their field. Many of them were once my childhood heroes, and never in my wildest dreams I would have thought of meeting them in real life today. So today I'm really happy to call some of them my good friends, and being their personal consultant has allowed me very special access to some of their lifestyles and truly behind-the-camera nature type of information. Now don't worry, I'm not going to share anything sensitive or spilling the beans about their personal life here. Just some very unique observations that I found common amongst all human beings, even if they're superstars. And if you knew about this, you could literally transform the way you see, interact, and communicate with anyone in your life. And of course, if you see this through the lens of a face reader, you can almost certainly influence anyone in your proximity. What I discovered was this: no matter what stage you're at in life, maybe you're just starting out in life, maybe you just got a new job, or you're in a new relationship, maybe you are already someone who's tasted super success or enjoying a high-flying career. There is one desire that ultimately binds us all. It's like a hidden human need that transcends age, culture, race, language, gender, social status, and everything. I'm talking about the desire for acceptance and the need for affirmation. Every single person that you will ever meet shares the same underlying desires and the same needs. Every single superstar I've consulted, every top business tycoon, every statesman that sat across my consulting table shares the same fundamental desire and need. Now, social media today is like a testament to this phenomenon. In fact, it has tangibilized this human behavior and demonstrated just how much we really desire and need this validation. What do we do on social media all day? We constantly click on the refresh button to see how many people liked our afternoon cafe macchiato post. Some of us even religiously document every part of our life, including our daily workouts, our diet, and even what we had for breakfast. And then putting it all out there with the underlying message, what do you think? Do you see me? Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We are all guilty of this to some extent. I am too. But it's okay, because it's in our nature to seek this.
I'm from Romania, Europe, and Chinese metaphysics. When I start to learn it, I started to learn it as a belief that I'm going to show people that it's not working. So I was one of the skepticals at the beginning, and after the first class, I realized that was only in my head, and this fake Western perception, it's not reliable. So I would recommend Chinese metaphysics with all my structures, because I'm doing it almost for 5 years, and everything in my life has changed and has improved. It's only a perception. Once you get started to learn, you will see the differences that can bring into your life and how many benefits you can have.
I believe it will impact me because I will be able to assist and know and understand people I interact with in a better way.
Face reading, because it's another part of Chinese metaphysics, and the fact that it's the easiest to learn, because it's something that you just need to look at someone's face to actually know and to understand the person more. When you look at someone's face, and there are sometimes certain features or say scars or something that appears on your face, it tells you that these are certain problems that may come into your life and that it's fixable.
It's profoundly simple. The desire for acceptance and the need for affirmation simply means that I see you, I hear you, and I feel you. For those who truly understand this principle and can use this to their advantage, will go on to become giants in their respective roles in this world. Now here's the difficult part. How they perceive acceptance and affirmation is different from how you perceive acceptance and affirmation. A simple like on Facebook or an Instagram post will not make a deep impact. One has to go much deeper into delivering acceptance and affirmation from the other person's viewpoint in order to win their hearts. Remember in the previous lessons we talked about the 5 offices of the face? The eyes, the eyebrows, the nose, the mouth, the ears. Well, this first step is to see which of these 5 features most stand out when you read someone's face. For instance, if I ask you right now, looking at Bruce Lee, you say the eyebrows, right? Bruce Lee has a very strong set of eyebrows, fierce looking set of eyebrows, that bony eyebrows. Or Jackie Chan. What's the first thing you notice about Jackie Chan? His nose. What if I tell you Tina Turner? Immediately you know the lips, the mouth. How about Michael Jordan? It's that eyes, that power in that eyes, and so on. So 1 or 2 features on a person's face usually stands out. Out of the 5 features, which is the most memorable for you when you look at someone? Each of these officer perceives acceptance and affirmation differently. The eyes is known as the vigilant officer. It belongs to the fire element. So visual validation and results are very important to this person. The ears belongs to metal element, and it's also known as the information officer. What this person hears, such as words, tactful words, meaningful words, and the way you articulate the validation and acceptance is more important to that individual. Now, if the eyebrows most stand out, it belongs to the wood element. As you already know from the previous lesson, the eyebrows is known as life extension officer. That means time, patience, your mindful presence that you give to this person is what makes him or her feel accepted, and is the best affirmation that you could give. How about the nose? The nose belongs to the earth element. and it's also known as the Chief Justice Officer. If this is the most prominent feature that you see on a person's face, then he or she only accepts. Action speaks louder than words. This person only feels accepted or assured if you do those things, take action on it. And lastly, the mouth, it belongs to the water element. The mouth is also known as the communications officer. Water governs emotional energy and a physical sense of security. A simple hug or a pat on the back, a simple touch on the shoulders, all this gives assurance and affirmation to this individual. So be guided by these 5 simple principles of acceptance and affirmation. Give others what they want, and you will always get everything that you want in your life. When I first saw Linkin Park performing on stage, I wanted to be a rock star. The lead singer, Chester Bennington, was one of my favorite rock artists. Linkin Park, in particular Chester Bennington, became superstars during the early days of my career. So their songs meant a lot to me during my struggles and pain. I always thought, damn, Chester Bennington must be one of the happiest dudes in the world. Because you know, he has it all. The cars, the money, the private jet-setting lifestyle, performing to sold-out stadiums, the superstar status, and of course the mega successes, all of it. Clearly, what we get to see on stage isn't what they really are in real life.
Bennington has died at the age of 41. Now the coroner has said that Bennington apparently hanged himself. The singer's body was found at a private residence in Los Angeles.
Bennington was found dead in a home near Los Angeles Thursday morning. Authorities say it may have been suicide.
More breaking news right now. Linkin Park singer Chester Bennington reportedly has committed suicide. Authorities say he hanged himself at his home in Palos Verdes Estates.
The glamour, the lifestyle, the success, the money, and even the smiles that we see on magazines and TV interviews don't always mean happiness. And it wasn't until I learned more about face reading that I truly understand people, in order to help themselves cope through their day, often try to just put on one of the best masks they can find just to face the world at large. In the year 2000, I went to my first Leslie Cheung concert in Kuala Lumpur. He was regarded as a Hong Kong cantopop megastar. I still remember my mom used to play his music in her car when she was fetching me and my siblings to school. Leslie Cheung had it all. Everyone wanted to be Leslie. The fame, the glamour, the success, and the money. Then in 2003, on April Fool's Day, we all heard the news.
歌星張國榮夜晚喺中環一間酒店墮樓身亡，終年46歲。
再睇下其他消息啦，歌星張國榮夜晚喺中環干諾道中一間酒店由高空墮下死亡。
I had barely begun my career back then when he took his life. But many years later, when I'm now in touch with many Hong Kong celebrities myself who knew him personally, no one knew or could have guessed of his internal suffering at that time. And then there's Robin Williams. I still remember I rented a Robin Williams Live at the Met videotape from Blockbuster during my university days. I thought this man is truly one of a kind. He must be the funniest man on earth. Me and my housemates nearly passed out of hysterical laughter. And then there was Mrs. Doubtfire, Jumanji, and you know, all the funny interviews that he gives to Ellen and Oprah. You know, you always see this guy laughing, smiling, joking, mimicking other voices, dancing around. He seems happy. But you know, internal pain and depression and silent suffering doesn't really care who you are or how successful you are. Happiness is not the same as being funny or just joking in life. It's not until I learned face reading that I truly understood for Robin Williams, being funny was just the mask he created to hide all his darkness. The mask he wore to make everyone else happy.
I hate to have to report this. The breaking news just into CNN is that actor Robin Williams is dead at the age of 63 from an apparent suicide.
people around this country, and for that matter around the world, are reacting tonight to the terrible news of the death of Robin Williams. A statement from his wife confirming his death alludes to his battle with depression, and now we know why.
When we see someone who is on a wheelchair or is attached to an intravenous device, naturally we are more patient with that person. We even slow down and give this person a hand, or maybe even give them space to pass through. This is because we know that there is someone sick or someone vulnerable inside. Now, would we be so kind and considerate if these signs wasn't there in the first place? The same sick individual may not be sitting on a wheelchair. The truth is, we don't know what other people are going through in the inside, because people don't generally wear a shirt to highlight their pain and sufferings and struggles. I truly believe if we could just learn to visually recognize the signs written on their face or someone's face and read what those around us are going through, we would definitely be more compassionate and kinder. Suffering is relative to each individual, and everyone around you is going through their own drama and their own problems. And it's probably a painful story that we know nothing about on the surface. Sometimes this silent suffering is masked by a simple smile to protect the very vulnerable soul inside. You can have all the success and all the money in the world but still be unfulfilled. And that's not because you're being a diva or you're a difficult person to please. It's because suffering and darkness and depression, they do not discriminate. Just like how I was when I was young, wishing I was a rock star, filling up a stadium of roaring fans, we often make the mistake of believing that the answer to our happiness lies in having the life of a hero or somebody else. Usually a hero or someone that we look up to. We do this without realizing that many of our heroes that we wish we were may also be going through their own struggles, so painful, so drastic and devastating that they wish there was someone else too.
Well, I had heard, and the few things I did know about face reading, I've seen to be very true. And really, you can sort of size up some basic things about someone just on the few face reading things that I did know. So it's really practical skill. I know some people approach it with fear because they're afraid everyone can figure out everything about them, but it's a really wonderful skill to have, especially when you work in an industry where you're working with people. It's really a great tool to know the people around you better, so very useful.
I'm a wife and a mother and have 2 children doing very successfully. Been using feng shui and metaphysics in my life for years, and it's improved my life immensely. I have 2 businesses, consulting and Geology Pro, which is education with Joey's courses. So pretty well rounded and pretty happy with what metaphysics has done for my life. Well, face reading has a massive impact. I work with a team on both my businesses, so understanding them and what they need from me helps us work more cohesively, because it's important to know what they need. I consider that win-win both sides, so it's all about teamwork. When I understand they need something explained a certain way, that's what I can do. And then they also learn me. I teach them about face reading, so they know how to work with a SAM.
Obviously, feng shui consulting is looking at the environment, external, internal, but at the same time, face reading will really help to, get to know the person on a, personal levels, right? So obviously, I've been hearing a lot about taking actions on your own, as a first step. So I think, for me, really learning about face reading is to understand myself better. Because what I do also, I interact with a lot of people, internally and externally, whether with my team, with my friends, my family. So face reading is really a valuable tool for me to really get to know them a little bit better on a personal level.
So how do we see the signs of someone who is suffering silently inside? Well, the answer to this is simple: face reading. There are 5 positions that could suggest someone might just be prone to silent depression or internal suffering. Any one of these signs may indicate a hidden problem. First, the eyes. The eyes that don't spell happiness, even with a smile, is a clear sign of internal suffering or potential problems in the inside. The eyes is the windows to the soul. How do you know someone is happy? Look at the eyes. How do you know someone is sad? It's also in the eyes. While someone can muster up a fake smile, but the eyes will not lie. The second place to look at is the life palace. The life palace is located in between the eyebrows. It's like a round space between someone's forehead right here in between the eyebrows, okay? If you see there are lines interlocking or running across, or many lines going through the life palace, they are also called frown lines in English. These are problems or issues that this person could be thinking through or battling through on the internal. Next is the reverse boat mouth. The mouth is called the communications officers, your ability to translate your feelings into words so that other people can understand you. Now, if the mouth itself is like a reverse boat, a boat capsized on the ocean, usually indicates on the internal world of this person might be a little bit pessimistic, or they might go through some problems, some issues that are very hard to articulate to other people. And the fourth feature is called the spear-headed eyebrows. In the ancient books, spear-headed eyebrows usually belong to people who are temperamental. Let's think about it in detail here. People who hurt other people, who are frustrated with other people, are probably having difficulties handling their emotion in the inside. On the reverse side of a spear-headed eyebrows, you're also looking at someone who could be suffering from his or her own self-critique. That could be too harsh. And the fifth sign, which is very easy to see, is called the sunken eyes. When you look at someone's eyes, it's almost like the whole eyeball is moved inwards. You know how a skeleton looks like? The eyes sink inside and it's very gloomy looking set of eyes. When the eyes look gloomy and a little bit droopy as well and look sad, even if they are smiling, that type of sunken eyes usually denote some form of emotional pain that is subtle in the inside of that person. So the question is, how to help those with these signs? Two words: compassion and kindness. When we talk about compassion, this is the ability to step outside of yourself and perform an act of selflessness. This is the foundation of all compassion. If you could learn to identify these signs on a person's face who suffer from internal pain and suffering, you can be more compassionate to them. To be compassionate is to value them above yourselves for the sole purpose of contributing to the greater good. You can save them. The second way is kindness. There is strength in kindness. A simple smile, a kind word or two, even an arm or a shoulder can change someone's life for the better and thereby change the world. Kindness is your superpower. And kindness isn't something that you just give to other people. In order to be truly fulfilled and happy, it's something that you have to learn to give to yourself too. So if you have any of the 5 features mentioned above, then you need to watch out for the voice within. Usually there's a voice that we use to communicate and speak to other people. But there's also another voice that constantly talks to you day in and day out. That is called the internal voice. And if you have one of the few features that was mentioned earlier, then this internal voice is sometimes a little self-critical and maybe even pessimistic. Now, if these features are coupled with other negative formations, then the voice inside can even be more negative and self-depreciating and maybe destructive. If the accompanying facial features, for example, the forehead, the cheekbones, the ears, they are strong, then the internal voice can be switched from weak to strong through training and become more confident, more understanding, and more positive. Remember, all you need is compassion and kindness. The kinder the internal voice, the happier the mind that receives it. When you're kind to yourself and you're more compassionate to yourself, you begin to use that internal voice, that power to speak to yourself in a more understanding, gentle, caring, and positive manner. Now, it's so important that you control this voice so that it encourages you instead of destroys you, and use it to guide you instead of critique you. Sometimes the reason why we're unkind to other people is because of their own frustration, struggles, internal pain. And maybe due to this pain or their own insecurities and stress and jealousy or resentment and their own internal anger, they lash out onto other people. And all this is because we were not so compassionate and kind to our own self inside in our own world. And that's why these features also appear seemingly harsh or on bad-tempered people. Now, if every voice in the world was more compassionate and more kinder, including the voices inside our hearts and mind, all our action would be kinder and compassionate too. So if you want to change the world and you want to change your world in particular, you got to start by being more compassionate and kinder to yourself. All our problems arise because of people. Most of the time, if not all the time. We're unhappy because people did not behave or responded the way we expect them to. To be more precise, when people did something we did not expect that they would do, we get disappointed. Now, in plain English, we had failed to anticipate or to predict correctly. Human behavior is complex, and those who have mastered it and decoded it can control the gateway to all the riches and the happiness in their world. One of the very first lessons my teacher taught me on face reading more than 20 plus years ago was this. 看威在握，看明在眉，看貴在眼，看富在鼻，看祿在嘴，看福在意，看壽在合. This simple sentence encapsulates the positions on a face that govern the 7 forces of fortune for any individual. Now, of course, my teacher also clearly started with a clear warning that one should not just read any of these 7 locations in isolation, because they're all related to one another to give you a full picture of someone's overall fortunes. Now, of course, we use the word fortune here. It's easy to make the mistake that this is fortune telling, but this is far from what it really is. You should see these 7 positions on a face as codes that tell you about the potential, the capacity, the talents for achievements in those areas of life that an individual has. And if met with the right mentors, the right influencer, or the right partner, these dormant, latent talents may be awakened, and thereby bringing good outcomes, or as they say, good fortunes in life. The 7 fortunes of a face translated from the text are the following. To look at one's wisdom or the ability to analyze, study the forehead. Now, the forehead also represents a person's age between 15 to 30 years old, or you may say youth. And that age is an impressionable age. Whatever experiences you can get, or mentors you can find, good teachers will help you understand and shape your destiny. So wisdom comes from 3 aspects of the forehead. The highest point here is called the analytical zone. So sometimes you see on the forehead, the top of the forehead is a little bit more well developed, maybe even slightly protruding. That means this person is better at analyzing through a lot of text, a lot of information. They like that stuff. If the center point is slightly more developed, you're looking at someone who has better memory. And of course, the eyebrows, just above the eyebrows, this section is about intuition. Instead of just reading a whole textbook, they like to do it and they like to sense it. They have higher sense of acumen. Okay, so this is the forehead. And of course, the wider the forehead, you're looking at someone who possibly have better analytical powers, better memory, and better hands-on street smart. Now, when we're talking about reputation, the text says, look at the brows. The brows basically represents temperance. In Chinese, they say 個性, 性格, the characteristics. But it also represents how you do things, whether you have internal drive, whether you are disciplined, whether or not your thoughts are clear. So what does it mean that the eyebrows represents reputation? Is because reputation or good name is what you do day in, day out. People think branding is something that they paste their name on posters and put it everywhere else and everywhere on Facebook. That's not how branding works. A good reputation, a good brand is what you do day in, day out. A very good set of eyebrows indicate very powerful reputation and good name. Now, the text also says to talk about nobility, one studies the eyes. The eyes represents the heart, the eyes represents the spirit. When we talk about nobility, we're talking about someone who recognizes talent, has a vision, is able to support and provide value to other people. So if the eyes are weak and bring sachi or is protruding, is someone who likes to take advantage or maybe felt hurt inside, and therefore they felt that in order to protect themselves, they first need to destroy other people. So the eyes speaks a lot about nobility. And the text go on to say, to look at one's wealth, study the nose. Now, there is a difference between the nose and the mouth. The mouth talks about official salary, lok means official salary or income, and wealth is two different things. You might want to see this as wealth and money. Wealth is basically the value that you have created. It could be the assets or the properties that you own, or businesses that you own, or the value, the jobs that you have created for other people. That is the size of the nose, the fleshiness of the nose. That indicates, good control of wealth. The nose has an indication of whether or not the person can stay rich and continue to be richer. So if the nose is straight, fleshy, and from the front you don't see the nostrils, this is a set of good nose. And it is said in the ancient text, if the nose is 1/3 the face, you're looking at someone who at least, at minimum, is a millionaire. Of course, there are good nose and bad nose. In the Face Reading Academy, we actually go into detail about how one could actually diagnose the reading of the shape of a nose. Now, when it comes to income, the word that is used is called lok, lok joy joy. So the mouth. Remember, the mouth represents communications officer. Now, you might be superbly talented, you might have gifts, you might have, great qualifications, but if you fail to express your talent, you fail to communicate your ability, then you will not get the salary, you will not get the income. So what do you study about the mouth? Size, for one. For example, larger the mouth. Larger means larger than the age. Okay, so if you look at the nose all the way to the corner and slightly larger, that indicates a good mouth. Usually income generating is quite high. Now, if you have a small mouth but your nose is good, that means your wealth makes money. So the mouth represents that. So if the lips are imbalanced, it also indicates that your money might not be coming in a balanced format. That means commission-based earning. It might be income that comes in once in a while. For example, the mouth includes the teeth and the tongue, short tongue or long tongue. All this is discussed in detail in the Face Reading Academy, of course, but here's a general view. Look at size. Bigger is better, but not too big. Okay, if it's big all the way to the eyeballs, you're looking at someone that could be overly dominating and probably always chasing profits and wealth. Not to say that you don't have a heart in doing things, but probably a bit driven by career and or possessions in life. And the text go on to say, to look at one's prosperity, study the years. The ears represents comfort. If the ears just protrude on the top, you're looking at someone who likes to show off or a little bit pretentious. If the whole ears come out and is large, then you're looking at someone with great nobility or great prosperity. So generally, their background is good, they're well educated, life is pretty much comfortable. And when it says good prosperity, we are also talking about good health. The ears represents kidneys. If kidneys are functioning well, you generally have good health. And finally, they say longevity, study the chin. Did you know in face reading, anywhere from below your lips all the way at the bottom here represents old age, okay? It also represents support that you get in life, okay? If you look at all the wealthy ladies, guys even, usually they're quite rounded at this part. Now, I'm not talking about that big neck, okay? A little bit of double chin, a little bit of a long chin and fleshiness indicates the older you get, the wealthier you are and the longer life you have. Okay, so the chin is very important, and this part here, this fleshiness here, indicates whether or not you get support or people to help you when you're old, whether you're lonely or not. The sharper the chin, the more they like to go out the house. The rounder the chin, the more they like to stay home and talk to their family. So these are the 7 fortune positions, and this should help you identify if that person would have a good life or not. I know this entire training seems like a lot, but I want you to know that face reading is a subject where you can take what you know, no matter how little, and start using immediately. There is no need to wait. I implore you. No. In fact, I challenge you to try reading at least 3 faces right now after this video. Re-watch this video as many times as you like while it's still available. Or download the notes, read up the notes, and have them in your phone or your laptop, review them. If you have time to browse on social media or hang out with friends, that's the perfect opportunity for you to use face reading. It's been nothing but awesome, fun, and rewarding in this training journey. I really enjoyed creating this particular face reading series. I've also been getting a lot of comments, and I really love the community and the interaction that this has created for many of you. Just from reading the comments and all the emails that I've been getting in the last couple of days, I know you guys enjoy using face reading on your friends, and it has made an impact on your lives. From what I can tell, you guys definitely had a great time checking out your friends and faces. And please remember, share more of your experiences here in the private community or in the comment section below. Anyway, if you're interested in taking face reading even further and taking it to the next level, I've put together an advanced training program for a small group of people called the Face Reading Academy. And it's an online program that will take you from zero to reading faces like a pro in no time. It covers not only the classical techniques, but all the unique strategies and my personal techniques that I've used in my consulting practice. I'm going to give you all the information about this new training program in the next video, along with a topic that I've been working on called soulmates and emotional energy from reading faces. I'll have the video ready in just the next couple of days, so here's what I need you to do. Make sure that you check your inbox because you'll be the first to receive news when this very special video is ready. You will absolutely love it. I'll see you then.
The first thing that I have concern is I'm afraid that how I'm going to pick up metaphysics, because of I do not know Chinese character. But I think face reading is easier because it's not much Chinese character. It's mostly the recognizing the face, the palaces on the face. So face reading is very, very important to me because it's the first thing that I actually, when we deal with people, is look at the face. Previously, I was a headhunter. Face reading also gave me a very so-called important indicator, to try to gauge the basic characteristic of the person by looking at the face. Then I can actually figure out what to my questions, to interview, to follow-up questions, or any extra questions that I need to ask during the interview. This is one of it. And the second thing is during the, now is as a full-time investor, so I do a lot of networking, business networking. So this will actually help me a lot, as I say, how to start off the conversation. Most important thing is, I think you have to learn face reading, or even any metaphysics courses with very open-minded. It's start with something new, like me, I'm very speculative at first because the first thing is I say, what you can read from the face, and all those things, and I also don't know Chinese characters, So I think the first thing is just learn up face reading as a so-called as a hobby, as a fun, as a passion, to learn it as a skills. I think it's a very important skill nowadays because when you talk to strangers, I think that's the most important thing, one of the skills that everyone should have. At least it's an icebreaker, you know how to start the conversation.